Hi guys, welcome to Royal News Network. My name is Brittany and today we are talking about Meghan Markle's utterly cringe-worthy display at a recent polo match with Prince Harry. It was so cringy. She was over-the-top dressed, trying to emulate Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman. She was overacting, overemphasizing everything, posing, trying to look cutesy. She's 40. She's 40. She was trying to grab away a young man's award so she could pose underneath the trophy. I mean, the whole thing was just so ludicrous, ridiculous, utterly embarrassing, classless, tasteless, almost everything under the sun. But I think the worst thing is she's going to go to the Queen's Platinum Jubilee next week, allegedly. We don't know for sure yet if they really will get there. And the entire thing really was kind of mocking British society. She was mocking the Brits, the people who gave her the title and everything she has. She feels content to mock you. And so guys, today I'm gonna go over Meghan Markle's just utterly awful, cringeworthy display at this polo match. Everything I saw, everything that I'm just thinking about, and just how really Meghan Markle is just kind of like, she could not do worse when it comes to her own PR. She is so bad at it. And she's such a terrible, terrible actress. So we will guys go over everything this video. And if you guys haven't been to Royal News Network before, like I said, my name is Brittany. I talk about everything related to royals. So that's news, gossip, fashion, jewelry, television shows, movies, even history. I do it all here. And next week I will be in London, yes, for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. I will be giving you guys all the coverage and I will be breaking down what I'm doing in my next video. So sorry this came late. I was actually going to do it today, but Meghan Markle and this whole polo mess totally blew that out of the water, and I was like, you know what, I can't sit on this, so I'm gonna do it. So guys, if you want to, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. That will be great. I will be giving you guys all the coverage from the Jubilee that I can. I'll be doing vlogs, like so many different things. And I'll also be kind of analyzing Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and the whole thing going on with the Jubilee. So guys, that will be coming very, very soon. And like I said, guys, today we are going to be talking about Meghan Markle's recent appearance at Prince Harry's charity polo match for the Los Padres team. It was something where some people got invitations, some of it was open to the public, but Meghan Markle, oh my goodness, did she make an utter spectacle of herself. Just watching the videos, the pictures, everything was so utterly cringy. And it started with her outfit. So Megan's Mole, the Twitter account, called this out, and they were absolutely right. So Meghan wore a Pretty Woman inspired outfit. So Pretty Woman is a movie about a woman who is a prostitute who gets picked up by this John, who ends up being a nice man. And she ends up falling in love with him, he ends up falling in love with her, and she goes to a polo match in a brown polka dot dress. And what does Meghan Markle wear? A black polka dot shirt. And it's just, the whole look was just awful. It was just bad. I don't even understand the look. So the shirt's not bad. It's black and polka dots. I like polka dots. This shirt has little polka dots right here. I have a black and white polka dot dress that I actually wore a couple of days ago that I just packed because I'm moving. And I just saw that, but the shirt was fine. And at first when I saw the pictures, I thought she was wearing palazzo pants, which would actually make sense and make her look maybe a little bit more sophisticated. But no, she went with shorts, palazzo shorts and pumps and a big hat. I mean, this look is just awful. There's no other way to say it. This look is awful. It's just every fashion faux pas, like the way the shorts and the belt fit, like it looks like a skirt. It looks pretty bad from the back. It just does. And I feel like she belts everything in the thickest part of her middle, trying to make a waist. And I get it, she's very square frame, so I bet you it's kind of hard, but I wonder if she should have put the belt down more or up. I don't know. It's just, the whole look is a mess. And she paired it with this hat and evening makeup. So she wore a darker lip. So I did just decide, just for fun, to do a darker lip and throw a bit of shade in Meghan. So maybe I'm not achieving that. But anyways, I try. But she was wearing like this dark lip, and it was just like what are you wearing? It just didn't make any sense. And I'm just looking at her going, golly, like that outfit was a mess. And she was completely overdressed for the event. So Rebel Wilson also went to the event. And Rebel Wilson went to this event, I think because she was told to by Netflix, because she has a movie out right now on Netflix. And they thought, well, Harry and Meghan are on Netflix, or at some point going to be on Netflix. Why don't you go there and you can kind of, you know, promote, and you guys can cross promote and everything. But of course, Harry and Meghan don't cross promote anyway, so I don't know, that wouldn't work. But so Rebel went to the event and she was in jeans and a blazer, which was like totally appropriate for Polo. But Meghan, so they had this dress code for the event. And according to what I've seen here, this woman named Amanda, I won't try to pronounce her last name, said, "Thank you, Prince Harry and Meghan, for this lovely invite to tomorrow's charity polo match. Looking forward to it tomorrow. Also admittedly excited to wear a hat for the dress code. A photo is from the last time I wore one for the Queen's birthday at the UN." And so apparently there was some sort of dress code for this event that included a hat. Now, did people wear hats? Some did, some didn't. But you look at Meghan compared to the rest of the crowd, and she's completely overdressed. And I think there may have been some sort of sophisticated look to it if she had gone with pants instead of shorts, and if she maybe wore wedges instead of pumps. But again, the whole look was just weird because everybody else was so much more casual. And you look at Catherine has gone to plenty of polo games throughout her royal career and as a wife and a mother. And the dress code seemingly is very casual for most of these. Maybe there's some where there's a more dressed up code, but every time I've seen Catherine, except for when she went to Santa Barbara for her tour with William, because it was an official royal engagement, she did dress up, but she was still casual. Like, she wore sandals, you know, they were lower heel, and you know, it's a beautiful dress. And then she also kind of, I would say, kind of dressed up a smidge, and this was another polo event kind of as she was married, like right after she was married but before she had kids, and she sort of dressed up because she was handing out the trophy. And it wasn't like super dressy, it was just like a regular dress and kind of normal makeup, and she wore, you know, sandals and stuff. But Meghan is just completely overdressed for this event. Like, the hat is too much, like everything is so much. Like, she doesn't understand the meaning of subtle. And you look at it as well, and what I kind of came up to the conclusion with, and I think I'll go into more of this at the end of the video, is she's kind of mocking the Brits. She's wearing a hat. Like, she's basically making a caricature of British culture and the use of hats and fascinators. And I just find that like utterly distasteful, because you know, you hate on the British royal family, you hate on the monarchy and Britain, yet you use the titles you were given by the British people all the time. You even, you know, signed the invitation, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and there you are kind of being a caricature of a Brit. And you know, she's kind of making fun of British culture. And I'm super excited to go to London. I love Britain, I love the UK, and I plan on getting a fascinator because I'm going to get a couple pictures taken. I actually want a fascinator to wear because I think that would be a lot of fun. But it's just like kind of a respectful gesture. I don't mean it to make fun. I just genuinely want to, you know, enjoy this aspect of British culture that's not an American culture. But I feel like Meghan really created this event to mock Harry's own family and his country. And that's just so completely distasteful. And then you go to her acting around when they were giving out these trophies. So there's a couple of videos of this. So we'll start with a couple of different things. First of all, you know, she's handing out the trophies, and she gives gives them the kiss on the side. And of course, because she has lipstick on, she's not, you know, trying to get close to their face. I thought in particular her interaction with Nacho was rather weird. Like, that seemed really awkward to me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And then she goes to Harry, and she has to, two hands, give him a smooch. And someone mentioned that it looked like what Susan Sarandon's character did on Friends with Joey, is that, you know, she would put her hands on each side of his face to kind of block his character from the camera. That was the goal of her character, was to kind of, you know, she was very narcissistic. She wanted all the spotlight for herself. She was a soap actress. And so you look at that, and just, that looks incredibly true. And it's just super awkward looking. And I thought this was interesting to consider as well, is that you look at even the Avengers movie, Captain America's the Winter Soldier, and him and Natasha Romanoff are trying to go undercover. And what does she do to kind of distract the other guys? She kisses him because she's like, everyone's awkward around, you know, physical intimacy and interaction like that. And it's like, yeah, it's weird. It's awkward. You don't have to kiss him like that all the time. And you just look at all their PDA and everything, and there's a picture where she's talking to someone and she's kind of holding her hand up as part of a gesture and still clutching his. And, you know, this just goes to show, I think, Harry and Meghan, or at least Meghan especially, I'm not sure exactly about Harry, because I feel like so much of this is Meghan instigated and Meghan demanded of him, is that she's just, it's incredibly juvenile. It is. It's just so childish and immature and like a middle schooler. Like, that's what middle schoolers do, Meghan. Like, middle schoolers grasp, you know, can't, you know, let go of their partner's hand or whatever. Like, it's not addressing physical intimacy, or, you know, it's not showing people how much you are in love with your husband. It's showing them how much you demand on your husband. He must touch me. He must hold my hand. He must kiss me on the lips. None of this side kissing mumbo jumbo. We must kiss on the lips every time. And, you know, heaven forbid if that doesn't happen. And so it just was incredibly, incredibly awkward. And then you get to the trophy. Like, so they decide to lift the trophy up. Now, granted, Meghan had gone down the line and given every person their little, they have this little, you know, wood box thing or whatever that they got. And so, and I guess two of the riders were kind of teenagers, so they were quite young. And so she gives them all this, and she does go off to the side, and then Harry's like, well, you know, come here, we're gonna do the picture. And so they all can't decide what they're gonna do to raise the trophy. And at some point, it's really funny because they're literally blocking her face, which is hysterical. And she's like, kitsy, kitsy, let me pull my hat down, let me get, you know, and she's just, it's just ridiculous. I mean, she's 40 years old and she's doing this cutesy thing, and it's not cute. You're too old for that. You are too old for that. Don't do a cutesy thing, especially just in public. I mean, maybe you can do it with your family. I mean, everybody kind of does. I talk baby talk to my dog, you know, but you know, my mom does chastise me for it sometimes. But it's like, but when you're out in public, when you're out in front of like people like that, it's just, it's disconcerting. It's just weird. It's just, yeah, it's just so awkward. And she was just kind of desperately trying to get in the picture. And she was like, you know, you could tell in a lot of the pictures that they've seen, which were all done by Backgrid, by the way, which is a group that Meghan seems to use quite a bit, is that she really just did seem very much like she was posing constantly. And she was very aware of wherever the camera was. She was always play acting to the camera. It was just a little bit ridiculous. And so what I think this all comes down to is looking at this, and it was just, you know, again, cringeworthy. You know, I forgot. Here's the other awful thing she did. While they were, after she had kissed Harry on the lips, because I'm sure she demands that of him, you know, she got apparently maybe a little bit of lipstick on her lip, and she literally wiped it away as if she was his mother. Like, the mothering is insane. Like, that's not, I don't feel like that's healthy. Maybe it is, I don't know. I mean, I don't think most men, I wouldn't appreciate if my mother just kind of, licked her tongue and just started doing this to my face in public. I'd be like, Mom, sometimes she wants to, mess with our hair a bit, and I'm like, Mom, and it's just like, she's being his mother. And I know a lot of people have talked about this before, that she allegedly wore Diana's perfume when she met him, that she does all these mothering gestures toward her. And Harry looked embarrassed, and like, he did not look like, the way she was acting, he did not look like he was on the same page. And honestly, she kind of humiliated him. Like, that's not something, like, if you did that to your child in like middle school, he would be bullied, called names, baby, crybaby, like so many different things, that she doesn't know not to do that in public is just a little ridiculous. I'll actually insert a clip here. So this is actually an interview with Princess Madeline and her husband, Chris O'Neill, and they were on a show together. And they're sitting opposite each other. So they're looking at each other and they were doing this interview, and Adele actually was there for some reason. Anyways, and so this was like, I believe it was a Norwegian show. It wasn't Swedish, it was Norwegian, I believe. And so his hair, some of his hair had fallen down the face, and she just kind of goes like this, kind of, trying to subtly gesture to him to let him know, oh, you're, and the interviewer guy did catch it or whatever. And it wasn't that bad, but, that's like, I could see Meghan, instead of, just doing something subtle, just a little hand gesture, go, because, if you know your partner pretty well, that might be an issue. She would go over probably and fluff his hair back for him. And just looking at all this, the conclusion I come to, and I've always had that this conclusion exists most of the time, is that Meghan is acting. She is acting. This whole Polo thing was one gigantic performance, and it was a bad performance because she's a crappy actress. She's a really bad actress. Her thing, according to Lady Colin Campbell, is overacting, and she overacted this. Everything is too over the top, because she one time, I forgot to mention this, she at one point would start grabbing one of the kids' trophies to kind of get him to put it down so they could do the lifting the trophy thing up, like both hands grabbing out of this thing, and the kid's like, no, go kid. But everything about her is so contrived and so fake that everything, I think, to a certain extent, is a performance. And part of the reason we know this is that her facial expressions almost never change. She's always smiling, has a bit of a smirk on, and I get it. You don't want people to think that you're not having a good time or something, because kind of royalty is hard in that way. It's a lot of small talk. But we see Catherine, have a serious face, but Meghan's face is almost always smiling. And this was what we saw in these Polo pictures. It was just, look at me, or a smirk, or look how cute I am. Like, there's just such a performance aspect to it that it just rings as hollow. Same thing with the kiss. The kiss, I think, maybe was part of this act as well. And, somebody, like they mentioned, with the friend's hand thing, blocking his face, that might have been, something that she took from Friends and literally instituted right there on the Polo pitch. And just, you saw this in every single picture, I thought as well, that she seemed very posy. She was so aware of the camera, so aware of trying to look the best she could, posing the right way, having the right facial expression, reacting to the child, going, look how cute the child is. Of course, it's not her child, because it can never be her child, because her children are never there. But there is just such a performance caricature aspect to it. The whole interaction, everything she did, rang as utterly hollow. And I would like to do a full video on this, and I think I will at some point, because I find it fascinating that I think so much of what we see of Meghan is a mask. I bet you even Harry didn't really know her until he married her. And I think he probably is still finding out that really who she presents herself isn't true, because there's something I think utterly fake about her. And we saw this on utter full display at this Polo event. Everything about it was fake, fake, fake. The interactions, the smiles, all of it was so contrived, because she's trying so hard to make fetch happen. What I mean by that is she's trying to make herself, so this make fetch happen is from Mean Girls, and so one of the girls was trying to put fetch into conversations, and the other girl, who's played by Rachel McAdams, go, stop trying to make fetch happen. And I feel like that's what Meghan's doing. She's trying to make this royal thing happen, because it's their whole world, I think, is crumbling to a certain extent. Their house is enormously expensive, and I know people my parents have had a large house like that before, not quite that extensive, but a house like that's that large requires extensive maintenance. They're probably paying for things on that house all the time, not just the mortgage, but the lawn, the pipes, the electricity. Like, there are so many different aspects to a house that's larger than 3,000 square feet that just becomes insanely expensive after a time. I think they're bleeding money, because I think even more so than usual, there was a manicness to her display at this event. And you could say, well, she was just really excited, she was really enthused, but I just don't think that's the case. I really think that she is desperate to make this royal world happen for her again, because she's lost it. And they're kind of up a creek without a paddle without this royal connection that they used to have. And so they're desperately trying to reestablish this. I think that's part of the reason Harry went back to Polo. Well, you're a royal, do Polo. At least we can kind of let people know you're still into the Polo thing. And I think that was part of her motivation, or maybe his motivation as well, I'm not sure. But part of the motivation to get Harry back and to do something he used to do. Like, there's so many things he used to do that he doesn't do now with Meghan. And then all of a sudden he started taking up Polo again. I thought was kind of weird because Meghan's all about against animal cruelty, and he's been aggressive on horses before when he's played. And so it just struck as kind of weird. And so I was like, you know what? I bet you this is something again, because Polo is the sports of kings, and she wants Harry to be a king, and she wants herself to be a queen. But they've kind of become jokes and laughing stocks. And so she's overdoing it. Everything she does is over because there's nothing else she can do, because she doesn't really have anything else to offer, and she wants to make fetch happen. She wants to make royal happen. She wants people to see her as a royal duchess. Unfortunately, that only really works when you're actually in the UK. And by this point, they've been out of the royal family longer than they were in as a married couple. And so does anybody really care about Meghan Markle anymore? Because her and Harry have tried to make this whole thing happen, this producer thing happen for a bit. And they apparently really, really suck at it because they have nothing to show for it so far. And so you just look at this whole thing and it's just very, very sad, I think. And Meghan, oh man, it was so cringy. It was so kind of awful. It was so just bad. Like, I just don't know what she was going for, because Pretty Woman's not the case, because Pretty Woman is actually not a great movie example. I hope nobody becomes a prostitute thinking they'll find a really rich man by, through a John, one of their clients, because it's not going to happen. I'm so sorry. Please don't do that. And so it's like, even it's like the movie example is bad. Like, people do like Pretty Woman. It's not the greatest message to send, but people do like the movie. What's happening is her desperation is showing. Meghan Markle is no longer the Duchess of Sussex. She's the Duchess of Desperation. She's the Queen of Hypocrisy, but the Duchess of Desperation. And her thirst for fame, money, attention, accolades, so many things is just growing by the day. She cannot stand it that she is no longer really part of this royal fold. I'm betting that, not being on the balcony is an utter blow to her ego. And so that's why we got this utterly terrible, horrific, cringeworthy display at this polo match that is just like, oh, it's so awful. Like, you just look at the picture and you go, golly, Meghan, like, honey, oh, honey, oh, honey. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. Like I said, next video will be my breakdown of the Jubilee stuff. I was going to do that today, and then this whole thing blew up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to talk about this because I have so many thoughts about it. So I hope you guys like this. Thank you so much for subscribing if you have, and I look forward to seeing you guys again super, super soon. Bye.